So, for an episode to be termed recurrent, there must be an interval of at least 2 consecutive months between separate episodes. In the movie, we are led to believe that Virginia Woolf has had this depression for quite a while. She has had a chance to see doctors. The whole family has had an opportunity to move from London to Richmond. That alone would let me know that at least 2 consecutive months have probably gone by with this depressive state. Also, though, from the Wikipedia article, we know that to be true, that from a very young age she suffered from depressive symptoms. So where the coding is concerned, that would be for a single or recurrent episode. We're going to choose recurrent episode, and that would be 296.33, or for the DSM-5, F33.2. That means recurrent. The next thing we have to do to code this is decide the severity. And I would say that hers is severe, and as we said, it might also be psychotic. That would be something we'd have to evaluate further, and we will talk about that momentarily. And then you could put in specifiers without codes. So once again, we're going to have to decide between a diagnosis of persistent depressive disorder, intermittent major episodes with current episode, or persistent major depressive episodes. Now, I think in actuality, a more thorough analysis of this character would be necessary to properly know which specifier duration would be the most accurate. We would have to know a lot more facts to properly diagnose, but I'm going to do my best from the movie to determine a couple of factors that will rule out some things and lead us to believe some others. We are aware that Virginia Woolf is very susceptible to depression because she had childhood loss. This was because both of her parents died at a very early age, and that is just one of the major things that can just send someone into depression. Now let's take a look and see if there are at least 5 criteria that she meets based on what we see in the movie. As we said, she has a depressed mood. The whole entire movie, she's signing, she's looking for long, she's acting exhausted, she's laying her head down. She describes her condition as wrestling with darkness. Another major factor is that she has loss of interest or pleasure. I pointed out that she wants to go back to London. She says there she had more excitement with life, but in Richmond she doesn't have much pleasure. In the movie, they made it seem like the doctors did not want her to go to social events. Could be true, but in the Wikipedia article, it says that even though she writes prolifically, that she herself chooses not to go to social events on various cases. Depends on which version you want to believe. I'm going to go with she herself doesn't want to go to social events and get out. Now, with depression, you have to have one of those 2 things: depressed mood or loss of interest or pleasure. Another common feature of all depressions is that the person is sad, empty, or irritable, the DSM tells us, and has some cognitive changes that affect the individual's capacity to function. What differs upon the depressive states are the durations, the timing, and the etiology. For it to be a major depressive disorder, there must be these symptoms every day, and for most of the day there have to be depressed symptoms. I would definitely say Virginia Woolf's character satisfied that based on the movie. Let's take a look at the goodbye letter and see if that's going to help us fit any criteria. The DSM has one of the criteria as a sense of worthlessness or guilt. And Virginia Woolf seemed to think that she was keeping other people's happiness from being achieved, and that people would be happier without her around. So I'm going to definitely say that I would call that worthlessness. And our last criteria that we would go by to decide if she met the symptoms, the criteria for depression, would be thoughts of death or suicide. She already had 2 suicide attempts, we're told in this movie, and of course we see that she does commit suicide. But if we were diagnosing her, then once again we see that she believes she would be better off dead.